Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome to this Paralives Early Access release date announcement video. Oh, that was catchy, wasn't it? Would you believe it? The last time I talked about Paralives on this channel was 5 years ago, which is insane. It's been on my radar ever since, though. They get a few bucks off me every single month on Patreon, and we get these little cute videos every now and again on YouTube. And but I thought now the end is nigh, the end is coming in sight, so we can talk about it a little bit more. And they're getting ready to look forward to playing it. Look at this! This beautiful young lady grows up and becomes a mother and a wife and grandparent, and oh god, it's just beautiful. So for those of you who don't know, as you can probably tell from looking at this is a life simulator. I don't want to just call it Sims clone. A lot of people use that. I don't think that's fair, because I think they're really trying to do a lot of stuff here on their own 2 feet, and they're trying to obviously address some issues that people have with modern day Sims. Obviously this is a trailer. A lot of this might be sort of, mashed together to make it look special, but if you look at the devlogs that they've done recently and showed off some of the more details, they're really trying to have this game stand on its own 2 feet, and I just think it looks incredible. Few of the big changes, I think, from perhaps other Sim games, I'm not just going to keep saying The Sims, is there's no loading screens. The whole world will be playable at one time. You can move from your apartment or your house down into the town. Everything, because of that, the way they're going to do that is to keep everything a little bit more squished in. So it's not going to be these sprawling lots like The Sims. They're going to be focusing a little bit more on a sort of curated town centre, which we'll have a look at in a little moment. And similar to something like Stardew Valley or any of the likes of the My Time At games, where you've got your own space that you can decorate and adjust, and then there's a town that you can go down to work and socialise and what have you. This is, I believe, something that can be built. This was an office building that they put out a little while ago, just to show you some of the options there. And one thing that I really notice in this is clutter. Just the amount of stuff and the amount of stuff really packed in, squeezed in, everything sort of jaunty angle, plants on a wonk, hashtag plants on a wonk. We are here for this kind of stuff. The only thing that I'm still a little concerned with is that they very rarely show the build mode of gameplay followed by the live mode of gameplay. So yes, I can build this, and I can put couches like that at an angle with coffee tables in front of them, and I can build tables like this with random chairs around them. What I would like to see is then the paras, I believe we're calling them, to go in and use them, because that's always my big thing about any of these kind of games. In fact, any games in general, really, where it gives you this level of creativity. I want to know, do your little computer people use the stuff that I've just built? And that's the big thing for me. We say it a lot with the Planet series of games that we cover a lot here, Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo. Obviously, in game that you can build the rides that they ride around, you can build the animals that they go and look at, but a lot of the time we'll fake it with scenery to build play parks or the telescopes that you put 20 cents in to look around, or water guns that you put 20 cents in at theme parks, and the guests just wander past them. And that's fine. At the end of the day, it would be incredible to be able to just point at a thing and say this is what it does. But one thing I do seem to see in this game is that pretty much anything that they put down, even though there's a huge level of customizability, they do actually get affected. Here we're seeing some of the terrain tools. This is all pretty standard stuff, but it looks nice. It seems to be well implemented. You can raise and lower the terrain, you can smooth it, you can flatten to surface, everything, and flatten to foundation, everything you would expect. And then there's various different terrain paints that add levels of grass and what have you. One thing I would like to see here that I haven't seen so far is a density option. There is a scale there, a size one, so you can do smaller spots, but it would be nice to have a density spot as well, just so you could make some gradual changes between the short grass and the tall grass. That might be a little bit too much to ask, depending on how they're doing this. They might be using sort of textures and stuff to generate that. But here is the best example we have of what the game would actually be. This is follows the week in the life of a young para that you've made. So you're going to start off by creating them, and you can obviously pick what they look like and change the hair and all of that, everything you would expect there, and then you can put different points into their personality. Now, I am very much focused on the build mode of these games, the creative side. I'm a big fan of building things, but as I said, I do like to have those buildings then be used and actually sort of get focused and be part of a character's life. I did a few videos on The Sims 4 back in the day when I was playing that for a short while, and everything I built, I always built a sim to go with it, and that was always quite a fun way to do it for me. Here you can see that she can go and get a job. You need to have application points to apply for higher jobs, and I'm assuming you sort of accrue those through experience and learning skills. But here she gets a job as a basic barista, and not basic barista, sorry, like obviously baristas are very talented. I can't make coffees like they do, but it's the entry level of this career, I guess. But then you can go in and actually upgrade that barista job either through just being better at it, or better at a skill that fits it, or just another perk. So there you saw that that she chose to just be better at barista, and that gave her a pay increase. But she can also be better at customer service, which if then she moves into another line of work, that might carry over and be useful as well. And then the other option was just allowed to listen to music at work, which increases her music skill that she's trying to do here through learning the guitar. I think seeing that guitar get placed down and then her walking over to it and picking it up is the single time we've actually seen the build mode and the live mode interact. I might be wrong. I don't, even though I do sort of follow these folks on Patreon, I don't really go over there and look much at Patreon. They just, a couple of bucks comes out a month for a few different projects that I support, and I'm happy to do that. I also support like This Week in Entertainment, a fantastic podcast I listen to. Sorry, The Rest is Entertainment, excuse me. It's so good I don't even know its name. But like I follow them on YouTube and I watch that sort of stuff. I very rarely go over and read like dev blogs on Patreon because I haven't got enough time. So they may have gone a little bit more into detail with this sort of stuff, but at the moment, I don't know. It's a weird problem to have, and it's perhaps because over the last sort of year or two, I feel like the simulation genre, the tycoon genre, the management genre, whatever you want to call these, what this game would fit into, that sort of simulation. I feel like we've been a little bit dirty with games sort of over-promising a little and perhaps coming out a little raw. This one is coming out into early access, and with that becomes an expectation that there are going to be some issues and it's going to be developed sort of cumulatively, which is great. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I just, like, for instance, in the trailer, I'll just cut this video back in. In the trailer, it shows you like dragging the size of the couch. Like, it's not a set couch that either fills 2 blocks or 3 blocks. You can drag that couch and it procedurally generates cushions depending on how wide it is. And then a moment later, it shows people sprawled over this couch. There's a kid sat upside down. There's one character there looks sort of perched on the arm. They're not sat, one person in each cushion like you get, like they're waiting for the bus on The Sims, like that to me seems too good to be true. The fact that you can procedurally generate that couch depending on how wide I want it, and then the AI characters are able to go in and know how to use that space and use it well. If they've managed to pull that off, that's incredible, and that's exactly what I'm looking for in these type of games. Give me an immense amount of customization and creative options, but then have that stuff work. Here you'll see a beautiful setup there, and again, all these little pieces going down individually. Very excited for it. And then we see them studying it, but we don't see that much interaction with all that stuff. So that's just, and obviously that's the cherry on the top. You know what I mean? That's the last 10%. Is having all of that stuff work together. So I'm very excited to see more of that. But overall, man, I'm excited for this one. I like you all, I'm sure, basically spent my, I was going to say childhood, I guess I was in my teens playing The Sims. It's probably the one thing, hey, come on, let's all do a plank. Let's all do push-ups together. Now, one thing I've noticed as well is that, like, from the gameplay point of view, there's a really great thing where they're all talking. They all sort of generate the I don't know what the word is, like points for doing that together. So they generate, like, if they're all talking, they all generate conversation skills together. That's a really nice bit. Anyway, I grew up on The Sims, played it to death. It's one of the reasons that I love these genres of games. Basically, The Sims and Roller Coaster Tycoon dictated my sort of formative years. And like a lot of people, I kind of fell out of love with the series as it moved forward. And I think this is perhaps, at least on paper, at least here in these sort of very curated videos, it is doing what I want a modern day Sims game to do. And because of that, I am very, very excited. We've seen a whole week in the life of Anissa, I believe her name is, and her and Carl are getting pretty close. She's playing the guitar for him, look, and then he pops up with stuff to do. Oh, and there you go, look, even because of that friendship and because of her showing him the guitar, he's actually offered her a job that uses it, and she's going to move from barista into what looks like guitar teacher. That's pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just very excited about this. I'm very excited to show more. Now I've got a date. Now I know it's that sort of December date. I will be looking at covering this as we get new information. Again, they've been dripping stuff out over those last 5 years, but I've always wanted to sort of say, well, let's actually see this, amount to something. And now we have that early access. We're going to go for it, and look how happy they are about it. They're having a good old smooch. Very excited to see more, very excited to share it with you. Very much looking forward to early access in December. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next one, be good.